Hey everybody, this is Fran Fraschella, draft expert and basketball junkie. To everybody who's watching, let's get our friends at General Manager Games the subscribers they deserve. Just press that red subscriber button and immerse yourself in sports AI through GM Games content. And on Twitter, it's GM_games. Let's get after it. Let's go.
Until we're fully underway here. So just a couple moments to get set up. Just getting the stream set up here, and so I can read the chat as well. All right. Just making sure that we've gone live. All right, so it does look like we're live. All right, so this is normally when I'd be working, but since I'm off this week, this is Chris from GM Games. Last night I just delivered another stream video in regards to the NHL 2021 season. And so this one, let's get into pro basketball. I'm not fully underway. I'm just going to send the broadcasts that we're up to a couple more channels, and we're going to kick this thing off. So just bear with me here a couple more moments. All right, let's get this thing up. See if we can get some more eyes on this. All right, almost there. All right, so essentially what we're going to be doing is making a video to determine the outcome of the NBA season. And I think I've got this pretty set up. So if you're looking at it right now, you're going to see Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2021. This is a recent release within the last month or so. I worked on the beta a little bit. I've worked on the photo pack, and so it looks pretty damn good, especially when using the game to immerse yourself in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue into this game. And if anyone's in the chat, just feel free to say hi. But I know this is an odd time. It's not exactly the time of most gamers when I guess they're up all night doing whatever, playing, first-person shooters or whatnot. But I'm on holiday. I'm a morning person, and this is happening. So, okay, so how about we take a look at some of the media stuff in this game? So before we get started, let's give some context. I'm also going to be putting up a bit of who are the favorites this year in the NBA. So here's Las Vegas odds. I'm not paid from this gambling site to do this, but that's kind of a good idea. But let's take a look. So the NBA season, we know that the Lakers, they got it done last year. They've retooled a little bit, added Schroeder, Rondo's off the team. So we know in terms of talent, using the default roster set that we're going to go forward with, the Lakers are still, with LeBron James, obviously, a pretty heavy favorite. Now we have, I guess, Giannis as the second best chance to do something. So it looks like the respect for Kawhi and Paul George has dropped, and the respect for KD and Kyrie on the Nets has gone up. So that's pretty interesting there. Essentially, that's the same, but the Bucks give you a little less value. Then you're looking at long shots. Anything over like plus 2,000 is just highly unlikely, but definitely pays pretty good. So yeah, you got the Celtics. I think that's pretty good value there. They're probably in it. The Heat were pretty in it. So as long as you can get to the finals and get out of the East, it looks like you have a pretty good chance to do something here. So moving on, let's get into the game, right? So league media, I think there's some stuff about who are the star players, what's the power rankings and whatnot. Maybe I'll come back to that a bit into the season. I think there are some magazines about top players, top 50. Here's some fantasy hoops guide. So before we get started, we have I think this is the top 50 right off the bat. Top 5. Oh no, it's the 50. I can scroll down. So we're looking at Giannis being the top player in the game. He's won the MVP a couple of times, so it's not really a surprise there. We got Luka. Luka's been doing amazing. We got James Harden. Luka's got the big scoring odd here. We got James Harden. I'm not sure if that weight there needs to be reset. After some people have seen him come back from training, not in training camp, but I won't slander James Harden too badly, but he seems like he was up all night with some like the gamers that are out there, just not playing games at the club. All right, and Kawhi, he's definitely going to be bullying some people inside, can shoot, can do his thing. So yeah, we're looking at, here's some of the top players, but I guess like what we want to break down more, some of the teams, who are the players under the radar. So this is interesting. This is the game that saying that their potential rating should see some of these guys begin to start standing out a bit more. And so from that perspective, we have, Shai Gilgeous. This is a Canadian. As a Canadian myself, I respect the fact there's about 17 or 18 in the league now, and he's definitely the future of the Thunder in some ways. So he's a pretty interesting player. Zion is just meant to do something else. Come out from his breakout year. So yeah, I mean, you can see this game's looking quite nice. I think what I'm trying to do here is not only predict through AI what's going to happen, but give you a little bit of a showcase of Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2021. Now, let's take a look. I think there might be some team previews. Go back to the magazines. Who's the team to beat? All right, we got a season preview here. You can get a sense of all the different teams. So you can see Kyrie here. You can see Kevin Durant. So with this new version, as you can see, the player photos have kind of gone a little bit more landscape mode than portrait. They no longer look like passport photos. That's a nice thing. So what we've been able to do is also bring in that imagery from like NBA.com, ESPN.com. Entire draft classes are here. So, if you're go check out like Anthony Edwards getting drafted, you're going to find him on Minnesota. You're going to see his photo. Right now it's the one from Georgia, but he's in the game. So you can have a look at that. Looks like one player is missing. I'll have to update a mod for that. So I think it doesn't actually give us the teams in a sort order that makes sense, but we can get a sense of the talent that's around. So you got Schroeder, KCP still in that starting lineup. It looks like the projected starters are quite accurate in this game. And the courts are in the background there, so that's pretty cool for 2D modes or whatever. In the hockey game, I ended up simming through pretty fast the playoffs. I'm just not too familiar. I'm kind of familiar with this one. So if we get to the finals, if it's a big game, we can throw something on at the end. And I kind of want to make this a one-part episode, just as we go through the season here, and we're like a couple weeks in. So this will be dated by the time this video is kind of looked at, maybe in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But at least we can get a sense of who is going to be projected by this AI on who's going to win based on this roster mod that we have here. Obviously there's a lot of factors about how accurate this can get. But with that in mind, I think we need to start looking at some stats. These types of games, franchise manager games, they're highly glorified spreadsheets and whatnot. So it's definitely about the numbers, and then seeing how this simulation algorithm plays out. So with that in mind, we're in a commissioner mode. So I think some stuff might whip by. I'm not going to get bothered by inbox stuff. But this is a good place to check out some of the projected lineups. Clay, I guess I can't really set him to be out. which is kind of, maybe inaccurate for Golden State, but we're going to do it this way. Here's the upgraded Suns, and they're already good as it is, but this is definitely a team I have my eyes on. You got Chris Paul now joining Aiton, who essentially is, not your prototypical center. He's a guy who can now shoot from the outside. He's expanded his game. And the Suns kept adding some bigs this year in the draft. You got, Jalen Smith. He's a key bench player. They're saying that on the left. So maybe we'll come back to this at some point. I want to get through some simulations, so if you're just not hearing me chitter chatter, but we're on a live stream. So if anyone wants to chat, feel free to jump in or any requests. This is some morning basketball action. All right, so there's different ways to move ahead. I think what I want to do is kind of move maybe a month ahead at a time. So we're on October the 17th. I think let's move to the end of November to give us a little bit of a sense of how things are. All right, so we can sim to a date. I think we'll go about, 27 or so days, 15 days into the schedule. And all right, here we go. Off we go. We're going to be doing this. Let me know if anyone wants to see any stats or anything as we simulate through. I don't anticipate Twitch is going to be popping with the chat room today. Again, it's, morning time. Not exactly the sweet spot for most gamers, but the sweet spot for people who drink a lot of coffee and are used to getting up for work. And I'm not working today, so let's see what we got. All right, if you look at the bottom right, there's some achievements, milestones coming in. Lillard hit a certain milestone of 15,000 assists or someone like that. Chris Paul just got hurt. Jimmy Butler is getting up there in career points. So what's cool is that there are the career stats in the database when you start. This is a default roster set with two mods, one from Slybell and one from myself from GM Games, which gives you the player photos. So it's moving pretty quick. You can see that the sim is not that slow. I'm on a Mac though, that's pretty fast. And using VMware Fusion for this. All right, so now let's take a look in context of what just happened in the first month of the season. How about we do this by conference? So if we're looking at the East, the Nets are off to a really hot start. This year they lost, I think, to Memphis within the third game of the year, but they're off to a 7-0 start this year. And if we take a look at their lineup and their dashboard, we got KD at 31 a game. He's coming in pretty big here to start the season off. The first, what are we calling this? The first month? Yeah, it's the first month, but it's not a full month of basketball. But we're up to November 1st. And yeah, the Raptors are still holding pretty strong, although they're doing terrible in real life. So showing their depth. Oh, and 3 to start the year, but made the playoffs. I don't know, one of the longest streaks of playoffs making in the last while. Okay, Boston Celtics, the Sixers cold start. Actually, they're doing a little bit in real life, so it's hard to compare. I don't want to take 3 games of the year as a representation of comparing this AI of what's happening. But you got the Knicks off to a cold start, Pistons off to a cold start. Who else is just terrible? All right, so let's zone in on the West. Where does that start? I guess it starts on this part. Okay, so the Warriors. I guess Klay Thompson has thrown a very big anomaly into the simulation, and they must be going off once they have their lineup with Wiseman in and them fully. So that's a definite wild card in the mix. we'll see how volatile it makes the playoffs afterwards by having that. But it does shake up the state of affairs a little bit. I don't know how to manually go and just say, get out of here. But all right, let's not fixate on that. But we know that the Nuggets are starting pretty good. The Rockets are pretty good. So, all right, it's really early. So maybe let's get to another month. We definitely don't want to miss the All-Star game. So that's an 107-day countdown. Let's do another month here. We're going to get to December 1st. Obviously, the calendar is different for what's happened with COVID, which is a real shame. But here's the standard season using the standard roster set here. We're essentially wanting to simulate, in terms of realism, the accuracy of how these teams are matching up against each other through the simulation and when they go heads up. So at the end of the day, we kind of want to find out the team that's the most probable if the Lakers are going to do it again, or get a sense of what other teams might be in the mix as competition. All right, so this stuff flies in fast. You can see some of the box scores coming in. You could actually do this slower. So if you do it every week or by your team, it kind of zones in on your players in the box scores as this simulation is happening. We can see that the records are changing. The Raptors are starting to lose now. The Portland Trailblazers over 500. We have Golden State losing their first three now, so that 7-0 run is over. We got Phoenix strong 7-4 coming in now. We have a triple-double from D'Angelo Russell. You guys see these toasters that are coming in on the right-hand side? And so that's normally what I'm going to put probably the chat box on the left, but no one's really chatting in this chat today, so maybe I'll just scrap it. And I'd be very curious if someone actually wrote in the chat that they're watching this, or some sort of morning person, or if it's in Europe, there's a lot of great European basketball talent out there. So I'm sure there's some fans who are interested in the pro game. All right, so we're chugging along. Phoenix at 10-6. Ayton's throwing up some big numbers there. We got Russell Westbrook on Washington matching up with Beal, and they're making some connections there. So they're having a bit of a decent record going on. Luka just went up for 45 there. Hassan Whiteside, he's probably highly rated based on like his physical attributes. Not sure if that's actually how it should play out. But Anthony Davis, he's doing quite strong. LeBron James, he's doing quite strong. Obviously, they're matching up well, just throwing lobs to him, obviously, just dunking everywhere. Sometimes now these other logos that are mixing in, kind of added to our soup here of simulation, are the G League teams. So you're getting a little bit of the minor leagues of the NBA. Brandon Knight sighting. So you have some scrubs that are still around, trying to do something with their careers, trying to get somewhere. So it's definitely where people put their talent to try to get some production. Now, I'm not sure if anyone knows, but if that actually is better than playing them pro time. And so I'd be really curious for someone to say if the G League is better. Now, one thing I should mention today, I'm going to go to standings, is the debut of the WSBA, the Wolverine Studios Pro Basketball League of this game. That's streamed probably coming tonight. And so that's something that everyone should kind of keep an eye out. If you want to apply and you play this game, there's a fully official sanctioned league from the maker of this game. So if you want to somehow influence the game or get to know the guy who actually makes this, you can be in a league with them. and chat and even send him trades. I think he has a representation of Orlando. All right, so the Nets are hot. Celtics are in it, battling with them. The Raptors around there, just above mediocrity type standings. That makes sense. So we're looking at the East. That's that division. The Hawks are looking improved. So Trae Young, maybe he's getting it done. We're going to take a look at the league leaders and stats after this, but for everyone who's watching, we can see right now into the first month and a half of the season, which teams are doing the best. So I'm not sure if you're more of a fan of the West or the East, so let me get off of the East. One last chance to take a look at where we stand. The Pistons, man, that's pretty sad. But I do think they had some decent draft picks this season. The Lakers are doing their thing. Golden State's being a pest with a hypothetical Clay in action. The Clippers here, hanging tough. We got the Rockets. We got the Jazz. Jazz not in the playoff mix. Rockets still here. Harden, but now with John Wall. So I think in real life he needs to get back into the game. All right, so league leaders. All right, so we have Trae Young right now doing his thing at that's a huge stat line, 35.9 points per game. And we have Luka at 11 assists. So not only is he scoring big, he's passing big. How are the Oh, hey, Chunky, man. Good day, good morning. I don't know if you have work or whatever, but the Raps are hanging in there. We can take a look at their dashboard real quick. But yeah, I do want to kind of show people in the chat how things are going with different teams. We got Lowry at 21-4 a game. Siakam scoring 17, so he's under 20 these days. But this is only the first month, so I guess it's not really indicative yet of how they should average out. But Siakam's getting rebounds. I'm not sure if Flynn's getting any run right now. He's not. He may be, but he's not sent down. He's not in the 905 Raptors at the moment. You got Aaron Baines. How's he shooting from the outside? Is he taking some threes this year? We can have a look. Yeah, he's taking his fair share, but his numbers are down. We can see where he's shooting threes from. He's not hitting very well from the left corner. Well, the left. Well, these are the corners, but that's that left arc area. Not doing too good there shooting threes, but yeah, I mean, pick and roll basketball. This is the kind of a game that's out there now. But let's get back to those league leaders. I want to get through a pretty good sequence of what we should do. So we'll look at the standings. We'll look at some stats leaders, but we can see right here who's filling it up. The different categories. What are most people interested? I guess I like 3-point percentage. I'm interested to see who's shooting well from outside the arc. Vader's Elite, yeah. Oh, totally. These the whole NBA mod with everything added, Slybell and our thing makes it look real nice. We have Tim Hardaway Jr. just firing away, and I guess Luka's kind of opening it up for him. Porzingis is in the post. I guess that's opening up him for free shots. But he's hitting. He's hitting a lot. He's hitting high too. So it's pretty early. But you know what? Let's simulate a bit more. I think I'll leave this on. I'll go back to points one more time. But let's get into the All-Star break, and then we can really dive deeper into how this hypothetical 2021 season is. This is the whole idea, is we want to see how this matches up a little bit with real life. And so let's keep it going. We'll come back to the play sim. And we are going to sim another month. But let's check out when our key dates. So we have 77 days to the All-Star break. I hope it doesn't actually start the All-Star break, but maybe let's get to the All-Star break. I don't think pausing one more month in between is really going to add much here. So let's go to the All-Star break. Certainly hope it doesn't play that. All right, so here, keeping it going. sounds like there's some sort of soccer match going on behind me or whatever. There's lots of horns going off on a roadway nearby. All right, so I got to keep the chatter going because this is actually just going to keep going for the next little while until it kind of goes through. So once again, there's a league that's called the WSBA. It's been created by Gary Gorski, the maker of Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball, college basketball as well. And he has a GM-based league, so you can't actually use any of your coaches to set like depth charts. You have to hire them. You're basically the Daryl Morey of your team. So you're kind of hoping that your coach, I guess he's on the Sixers now. So is Doc Rivers going to go set things up the way you need? And so it's very transactional. It is the prototypical GM representation, and which is interesting that General Manager Games is the name of our networking site. So all we're doing is always showing these games, but we do have quite a few games that have playbooks, coaching in them. It's a nice balance for people that prefer one or the other or both. So if we want to try to catch what's kind of zipping by on the screen, I think there's a lot of D League that's mixing in. So we're getting a little bit more of that D League feel, but now and then we're getting a chance to see who's popping off in the game. But you can see the records below the points totals. They kind of get a sense of how these teams are going as you simulate through a season. And while this is simulating, maybe I can try to like multitask some other stuff into the game view. And so maybe we can get back to a little bit of a couple of things. So this is the projections. I'm moving a bunch of crap around that I probably shouldn't be doing yet. Okay, so making sure, okay, our game is definitely not centered now. And how do I go back to that? Okay, so I should probably get that set up straight again, but it is simulating. I changed the setup, and then I definitely been messing around too badly. Let's see, pull it down a bit. Okay, I'm going to just talk about what's happening here. Raptors 905 team, they're doing pretty badly. Matt Thomas is down there. That does not seem very likely, but the GM looks like he's trying to get him some run. Maybe he's just coming off an injury or something, but all right, let's see what else is happening. Sixers record has improved since the start of the season. So I see the chat. I know you guys like the fictional stuff, so it's true. I mean, you can really get into your imagination when you don't have the real players. I think there's a balance. Some people enjoy thinking what they could do to rebuild. So rebuilds are huge on YouTube. They get a lot of views, especially for Madden, NBA 2K21. Always seeing, you'll see rebuilding the Knicks over and over and over. And I don't think there's any particular construction that anyone knows what to do to fix that. But I guess if you project outwards a couple of years, you can begin to maybe get some draft picks in there. Trade wise, who knows? The Knicks are definitely, if RJ Barrett can kind of be somebody. I've heard comparisons now that they got Jalen Rose there, and maybe that's where he's going to peak. I'm not sure. I mean, he was projected top 2 with Zion coming out, but we'll see what he ends up turning into. What do you guys normally? What do you play? Do you guys play PB21, or are you actually at the moment making some fictional worlds and leagues and stuff like that? Chunky J-Mac, you like having some fictional people all around, so that's possible. You don't have to play the game with this default roster set. You can actually go and behind the scenes do whatever. and set that up as you propagate your world. Yeah, I want to try to center this screen. Am I almost there or what? Yeah, I think I got it back. Okay. Now there's a lot of stuff running on this computer, so let's just hope it doesn't crash. But the more I move crap around, the more I think it's like not simulating as quickly. But we're going through a lot of games. This is the representation of a quick sim, but you know we're getting towards the All-Star break. Triple double from Kawhi on the right. Real players starting next. Let's play for G. You know what? What's happening? Oh, yeah, right, exactly. Sorry, with Vader's Elite, I forget you have a new name each time. So, Coach Fury, man, I forget that you have like Darth Fury, Coach Fury, a bunch of different names. Then you're in this one. So, yeah, sorry for a sec, I didn't even clue in, but I know that yeah, GMG squad representing here. Uh, Chunky J Mac, I think you're on our as J Mac. Um, on the Discord on GM Games, right? So good to have you around and see you chatting with the realest Jedi, coolest Jedi, whatever his name is. The whole squad kind of coming around. So yeah, I mean, I do want to kind of play out a storyline where I'm actually influencing this, but what I want to do with the simulator right now is just to give a sense of these roster mods and try to get some people who are brought into the game who are trying to find predictions and other ways of seeing how the NBA season will play out. Not just experts, like actually throwing what I consider to be an actual AI representation of a simulation algorithm. So I think that it's fair to have these games, and it's kind of really a joke at times when back in the day the really crappy franchise modes would determine the outcome of like who's going to win the NBA Finals. And that simulation, I'm not sure if they're even using the physics of the game to play the game out, watch the game, and then get stats. It's someone will throw it in an article that 2K said this team would win, or EA said this hockey team would win, and then you're thinking to yourself, what simulator was that? What mode was that? And what mode they did was essentially maybe just sim game, like one of the worst computations that are happening to determine as they move along who's going to win the cup. And so they might be really accurate in terms of physics, which means like both AI teams should be put out there, play the entire game out and watch it that way because their ratings are accurate in that world. And so if they just press sim game, it's a completely different computation. And so I want to kind of show what these games will say based on roster mods, because this is an actual pretty effective sim game function that it is more accurate than the other ones. So that was my rant. But I think it would be pretty interesting if you played out and watched every game as the physics were going up against each other and stuff. But what you notice is like something's not right about those games where the statistical outcome of they're not with the shot clock. Are they really doing trends where they're coming up the court in like 12 seconds? So if you were to put like a 2K21 game side by side with like an NBA broadcast, and you're looking at how like the half court offenses or transition or whatever is playing out, and you do the entire game out, how accurate is that in side by side comparison? It's very like you're leaning more arcade than simulation a little bit on the outcomes and stuff. So I think this is an interesting way though to kind of, for somebody who's comparing what I was putting up here, your typical gambling websites that are looking at, oh, who's going to be a dark horse, who's a power. These games I think can be a little bit more accurate in terms of going, oh, all right, that roster mod proved that like who could be a dark horse here? Maybe the Jazz start doing something at like plus 2,800 here. Coolest Jedi. All right, so we have some people here. We have a morning crew going on, probably wondering why there's a Twitch going on midday. If the Pistons win 15 games, it's accurate. Oh, geez, it's kind of going that way, isn't it? But let's get back. I'm not sure if I'm like lagging the game. I actually have like a pro football running on the bottom as well, so that's probably not helping the simulation. But we're almost at the All-Star break now. Trades are going nuts. We got Steven Adams moving around for Jonas. Trade deadline must have somewhat come by, and something is going on. Derrick Rose, Redick moving back forth, Jaren Jackson. Maybe the toasters all popped up at the same time, or that was trade deadline. But what was that? I think we're gonna have to go look at those transactions to see. I think there was a pretty active NBA trade deadline normally, but that was nuts. Did I just miss that? Maybe it is some date that's on this calendar. I think I'm going through the entire season, man, because I think I simmed to All-Star, but we're in February. Like this, again, I do this every time. I don't know why. When I run these sims, the games seem to go on and on and on. And I should probably cancel this because we're almost at the All-Star break. Or past. What day is the All-Star break? We must be past it. We're like 50 games in. What's going on? Oh no, 3 days to go. All right, Sim season 114. We're not past it entirely, but let's take a look at the transactions. Maybe there was a trade deadline that went by and I wasn't actually. Now there's a bit more filtration here in terms of looking at trades. So what do we have? We have Jaren Jackson moving around. Pat Beverly, I guess they're just, they're throwing a first for the Timberwolves. Beverly's already hopped around a couple places then. He's moving from the T-Wolves. First round pick. We got D Rose, the aging D Rose, second rounder. We got Teague coming back the other way. Celtics are kind of retooling. They had Rose, moved for Redick. So some stuff's been happening along the way in the simulator. Nothing really happened though until January, and then Oladipo is moving. Harrison Barnes, I guess that's an expiring contract. Yeah, moving that expiring contract out. He's going to be an FA player. I think I'm going to save this game. Maybe I'll do a prototypical 2022 offseason to go off of this one then. Some of the other moves happening. JV and Adams are in there. They're giving a first, so Pelicans are trying to get some young depth. Andrew Wiggins moves again. And this time the Knicks think that they can use Wiggins and a first. So maybe the records have improved and maybe they can actually do something else here. We have Zubac being traded. We have, yeah. All right, well, that's the extent. There's nothing. Duncan Robinson. Okay, so that is probably somebody whose outside shooting is a little low. He's like absolutely killing it in real life. So this roster mod looks like there are some tweaks needed. I hit like 7 threes the other day in real life. So definitely a giveaway. That doesn't seem to be highly accurate in terms of that roster mod, but adding a second as well for, yeah, some sort of scrubbish player. So that Duncan Robinson's underrepresented in this. Okay, so let's get to the standings. That was the transactions. I'm not going to be completely mean about that roster mod setting for that guy. All right, so by conference, we're near the... Actually, let's get to that All-Star break. I was just freaking out because it was like, oh my God, I'm just going to get to the playoffs again, and then I'm going to miss it. I don't want that to happen, but let's sim to the All-Star break. We're almost there. Yeah, you know what? That's probably... I probably should talk to Gary that maybe he missed that. Inside, like, well, I guess maybe if he only does layups, he's 100 inside. That seems really off, yeah. It's probably hurting the Miami Heat also in this game. But I'm going to bring that up. I think he might have definitely messed that up. All right, so we're at the All-Star break. Now, I don't know how to do that. I guess I just like sim this day. But let's take a look at some standings because this is part of projecting what's happening. So at the All-Star break, the conference looks like this. And in the East, we got the Brooklyn Nets tearing it up. And I think a lot of people weren't sure whether or not they would, or they're aging. But if you look at kind of what's been happening in real life, man, KD and Kyrie are going off. Pretty deep team with LeVert and whatnot. Celtics, a definite competitor. Bucks are in the mix. I think there is something happening there with the Miami Heat that with Duncan not doing his thing, they need to be in a playoff position in this mod, or at least a default roster set. But overall, I mean, these teams aren't that bad. Raptors under 500. I mean, that's very possible, depending, seeing as how things have started for them right now. The Pacers are in, the Sixers are in, and now we look at some home records. The Nets have only lost 2 at home. Conference play, they're doing pretty well against the East. And now let's get to the West. So Kings of the West right now are best in the West. Kawhi, 40-19. We got the Grizz showing some strength, flexing some muscle. Phoenix Suns, the CP3 edition, they're in 5th place. We got the Blazers looking like they're in the mix. Luka is not carrying his team into the playoffs just yet. You got the Kings with De'Aaron Fox just on the outside. And so this is the representation. I think everyone can kind of see what it is. I'm not sure I need to sit on the screen over and over. So let's take a look at some of the stat lines. And then I guess we can see who's making it. Trae Young is tearing it up. The highest scorer in the league. Some of the other games had mouse overs. You could just kind of see like what they're shooting for threes and stuff, but you have to kind of dive in. His outside shooting is 85. And what are we looking at? It just takes a lot of shots, like 36% from behind the arc. Shoots a lot. We got Gobert. He just got a max deal. So if you look at the contracts, they're set just like real life. So there's a lot of great things about this mod, all right? Even though there's a couple maybe hiccups from time to time, but all of which can be reported, all of which might show up in a later update. Okay, AD getting his blocks. Kawhi, the Claw, the Thief right now, 3.4 steals a game. And of course, this is a changing game from behind the arc. I just want to see who's kind of doing it in the mod so we all can kind of understand which players could be helpful. Now, I think you can't just take any player that shoots well. I think it's a combination of the scoring rating plus the outside shooting rating to really get something. But we got Middleton hitting half of his shots from the 3-point arc. What was his Jedi? What was his field goal percentage on his like regular field goal percentage? He is it's pretty high considering he shoots a lot, 47%. Yeah, and look at this. The chart looks pretty nice. He's tearing it up. I don't think the Hawks are doing that great though, but he's doing his thing. Okay, so let's find out who are all-stars now. So we get a sense of the stats. I think if I play this, I'm not sure, just results and see what happens. So I will do this play game, see what happens. All right, we have the dunk contest outcome, the 3-point contest outcome, and that went by super fast. I don't know what the hell happened there. Can I go back and take a look? Let's see. Go back and yeah, no, Giannis not in the top scorers. That's kind of odd. But let's see who can throw down with some art. This Matisse guy. I don't know anything about this player. I know a lot of players, but I don't know this guy. Jonathan Isaac's in it. OG, I'm not sure what kind of dunks he'll be doing. Those are like, I don't think he hangs on the rim either. All right. So that's the dunk contest. It's kind of boring. But it's, you know, it adds a little feel for the weekend if you have something with like high hops or whatever. Is there a back function? Yeah, there's the back. And it didn't bring me back to where I was. Okay, so play sim. I might have to talk about that back function there. Okay, let's go back one more day and then let's see who won the 3-point contest. And Seth Curry taking over the family crown of the best shooter. Click show games. All right, what's that all about? Ah, right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fury. Okay, so let's go play the game. What do I need to do? Sim a day. Yeah, here we are. Play watch. I don't think we should do that. We don't have that much time, I think. See the outcome. I think when we get to the NBA Finals, it might be interesting to kind of play that on the stream. I'll keep going for a while. I don't mind. I have some time. I'm not sure about how much the company in my place is excited about me yapping about basketball really loud, but we'll see. So let's see. Wow, that's a high-scoring game. I hope you took the over on that. Sophomores getting it done. Zion. Ja. And the poor rookies who is doing their best to try to hold off the inevitable defeat. We have Halliburton, Wiseman doing all right. And, you got Anthony here. That's not even, where's Edwards in this entire thing? He didn't even make it. Maybe he's hurt. All right, let's get to the All-Star game and keep this thing going here. Yeah, thanks for the tips. I think on the Mac, the arrow, the only thing is I have 2 screens going. I think this should be the active one. Play, watch, no. Play games, play this game out. Another high-scoring affair, no defense. Just throwing up lobs and watching this crap go in. Let's check the box score. I think we're all pretty certain the West is best. We got James Harden, Doncic in the starting lineup. Towns made the starting lineup. Porzingis is in there. DeRozan is cited as an all-star. Who else is Aiton? That's nice to see. Some Suns representation. Bradley Beal. We got Giannis in the starting lineup. What is Giannis' stats? Because I know we talked about he's not being a high scorer. But he is contributing in many ways. He's rebounding. He's getting assists. He's getting points. I think he is one of the top overall rated players. So if you take a look, he's pretty stacked. But let's get back to the game and see who was an all-star. Kyrie Irving, not a lot of time. Made the team, so that's still pretty realistic. Jimmy Butler's on the team. Collins, yeah, I mean, he's an up-and-coming player that's a lot. He's doing quite well mixing in with Trae Young. Trae Young's on the team. Zach LaVine, Vujicic, and no Raptors. Womp womp. All right, that's how it looks. Maybe the Bulls and the Hawks stand out this year quite a bit. But this is the All-Star Game projections. Yeah, no Durant. Yeah, it seems kind of odd that would happen with those players. I guess I don't know how that was actually determined. Okay, so let's get to the playoffs. I mean, this takes a while to sim anyway, so let's just keep it going. So yeah, I mean, that's a good catch, good eye. It looks like some of the all-stars that were picked, some obvious choices might not have been there. But that's the whole thing. This is their AI trying to tell you how this is going to go. And I guess we'll find out how accurate or how off it will be, because this is hypothetical of the future. And who knows? I mean, take this information as you will. I'm not sure who's going to use it for what purposes, but I keep showing gambling stuff. So if you guys maybe think that there's a guy who's in the MVP race, as I do that, maybe I will pull up the screen again, because there are other futures. You can take a look at who's going to win the MVP in the NBA this year. Luka Doncic, the darling of Las Vegas, with 3.7 times your money to see him win the MVP this year. You got Giannis, who I'm not sure I wouldn't do that. Mostly because he's already won a couple, and it kind of like, it's the fatigue of it all with like Steve Nash. You saw I won a couple, but then, you can't kind of keep handing it to the same guy. And so LeBron suffers from this. Clearly, at times, close to being the most valuable player. But I mean, maybe Anthony Davis now he's actually added a guy to join him who is better than he is at this point. So yeah, you do see how AD is now favored over LeBron. So we're still simulating everybody. We're just showing some projections of who might win the MVP. Kawhi will give you 22 times. What was it, 220 times? Yeah, 22 times your money. What else do we have here? Just the divisions. So this is curious. Let's see. The Atlantic, the Nets are highly favored. This is the Heat are favored. So there is something to be looked at with this roster mod. I mean, we have the Heat being super favored, but they're not in the playoffs right now. So not exactly looking accurate. So I will definitely bring that up. And hopefully maybe in the future that will be modified as well. And I'll share the link to this video from Twitch. And maybe there's something we can do about that. But anyways, as we see again, this is Luka Doncic, this is LeBron, this is Steph Curry and all that. So, and one more time to win it outright. We know that we were showing this earlier. We got Lakers, Bucks, Nets, Clip, and the Sixers now. Where did they come from? They're actually rated higher than the Heat. Must have been their great start, because I don't think a lot of people thought that lineup was going to do too much. But yeah, Sixers are doing well in this game as well. So let's see where we are. We're 30% away from the playoffs, 35%. I thank everybody for coming into the Twitch stream today. I think it might have been confusing as to why we're live. If anyone else has any questions about this game or being introduced to it, I have no official affiliation with this game whatsoever, but I do appreciate a good basketball simulator. And trying to get to the playoffs to see how some of these rounds will go. And, you know, if anyone has to go anywhere, they can always check this outcome, how that goes later on. I think what I'll do is I'll try to put some timestamps in the YouTube video after it's exported to say, hey, you know, from All-Star break, click this timestamp, take you to that part of the video and stuff. So, yeah, we'll see how this turns out. And hoping for it to be a pretty valuable tool in terms of comparing with real life 2021. So we got KD scoring his 25,000th point. Fred gets his, Van Vliet gets his first triple-double of the season. Not that that's easy to do at all. So getting through my coffee here. It's almost over, so let's get through this storyline and find out what happens. I do want to ask, though, in the future, to be able to hide this G League results stuff. Because it was fun at the beginning. You could see all the pro box scores coming in. But now it's just noise. You don't need to see this G League stuff coming up all the time. As you're, you know, kind of sitting through it, you're not getting context how the league's going, but you're going to have to go back and take a look at the standings, the league leaders. And so we've passed this whole race, seeing who gets in. I haven't created this kind of excitement build up towards the playoffs. Let's just show the results. We can feel out the playoffs more if we want to get a little bit more excited about it. We have a Raps-Bucks matchup. All right, I don't want to show the tree yet for playoffs. Let's go into the standings and get a sense of what happened here with overall records. So in the East, the Raptors just got in as the 8th seed. The Heat on the outside looking in. The Hawks, the Sixers are improved. The Magic got in. The Nets and the Bucks are the most highly favored teams. In the West, the Grizz, the Warriors. The Grizz, this is the new Grizz. They're up there. Done quite well with Jaw. They've made some trades, though. They added Steven Adams. This is changing their lineup a bit. There's some variables coming in for the playoffs now. So, as you can see, who missed it? The final records in the West. Clippers are in, Suns are in, Lakers are in. So it's an interesting battle. We've got the Mavs in, Rockets out. Kind of makes sense. There doesn't seem to be too many anomalies down here about who should be in or out. Pels are improved, likely not there yet to get in, but that's the way it goes. And funny enough, we talked about the Detroit Pistons. If someone made a joke in the chat that it will be inaccurate if the Pistons go over 15 wins. And we're looking at accuracy. It's under 15 wins. 14 wins on the season. But I do think somewhere in real life, they'll do better than that. But they did lose to Golden State, depleted Golden State last night, or within the last couple of days. So work in progress in the Motor City. Okay, keep it going here. We know now. Let's take a look at the final league leaders, because I think we had an MVP debate. Luka Doncic is the preferred pick of Las Vegas. He's up there in assists. So if you're trying to take a look at combination of things, Luka is 27 points a game and dishes it out. And this guy looks like he's a triple-double machine. So we don't know. Does it show how many he's had this year? No. His career triple-doubles at 25. I think in the game logs, I don't think it just stands out and shows triple-doubles. But, you know, if we look at an assist category, that's a triple-double. That's a triple-double. He's had a few, right? You can see in these, that plus, let's just assume he gets over 10 points a game. I don't think he's ever not gotten 10 points. So, yeah. Well, he had 8 once. Maybe he got hurt. Okay. Points there. Finally, I do like to check the 3-point percentage. Is it Middleton who wins it? Seth Curry. So that, I mean, that's probably why the Sixers are higher if he's actually bombing away. But 10 a game, just a utility 3 guy. Rodney Hood. Splashing. How many points per game? Nah, whatever. It's just odd. So that's whatever. He just comes off the bench and can shoot well. But okay, so we know AD's in there for blocks, rebounds. Let's check some rebounds list because I'm disrespecting these other categories. Gobert, Ayton. All right, he's sitting in the key. Sabonis seems pretty accurate for rebounds because he loves living in that key, which is great. He does do the pick and rolls on the perimeter, but he's a true big. Drummond, Giannis getting 11 from his position. Bam's there. So there's parts of Miami that seem accurate, and there's parts that need some work. And there's a different lineup here. We have Adams and Valanciunas swapping, so hopefully that doesn't change too much of the outcome. And let's see for who's dishing it out. We have 3 guys who made 10 a game. So Simmons, they just actually declare him as a point guard right away. That's like the tallest point guard in the league, right? 6'10", Jesus. 6'10" point guard. LeBron almost got an average of 10. Just missed. DeMar dishing the ball. I don't know about that, but he takes his fair share of ball hogging. So, all right, using his team, a more multi-dimensional player now. Okay, so let's get to the playoffs. How are we going to do with these rounds? Showing the brackets. Raptors in tough against the Bucks. That's a tough road. Nets look like they will likely slash and burn the Magic. Grizz Mavs, tough match. Suns Clip, that I'm interested in that series. That looks pretty good. Lakers Jazz, Warriors Nuggets. So I'm not sure how best to do this, but maybe I'll just like play a day at a time. What do we see? What do we got? And then show brackets maybe. Okay, so the East played. Nets are up, Celts are up, Hawks are up, Bucks are up. Looks like end of the road for the Toronto Raptors soon. All right, bang, another game. Another day. We got the West coming in. Grizz, Suns, Lake, Warriors. Warriors are gonna mess around with this AI thing with Clay going off, I think, but let's see what happens. Bucks are walking past the Raptors. Keep going. 2-0. If anyone wants to see some of the box scores, I think if it gets to like game 7 or something, I'll take a look to see who kind of went off or whatever. But for now, I'm kind of hoping the Nug win here so that we can get rid of that anomaly with Clay being in the playoffs. All right, what do we got? We got the Grizz up. We got the Suns up 2-0. We got the Lakers up. Raptors take a game. I guess it was a home game, but maybe too little, too late. All right, lots of 3-0. Some get the brooms out, maybe. The Suns might bring out the brooms on the Clippers. Wow, that doesn't look likely that Kawhi is going to want to stick around in that situation. Serge Ibaka is not. Oh, well, the Clippers showed that they don't want to get completely disrespected. The Lakers are in a battle with the Jazz. The Warriors are winning. The one that I'm getting worried that they might keep winning in this game, Bucks, Raps. So far, the only team that's out is Luka's Mavs. So the new look Grizz. Let's keep it going here. Breeze, welcome to this Twitch stream. We're playing out the hypothetical 2021 NBA playoffs. Oh, something's going on. Let me save this. It trips me out when the game starts doing that stuff. All right. We're getting mixed in with a little G League playoffs. Are you guys excited about that or what? Getting ready for that G League playoffs. Okay, the Clip are crawling back. Lakers are starting to pull away. Warriors are through. Bucks, Sixers, Hawks, that's a battle in the mid-tier. Nets are moving on. So we got the Bucks and the Nets moving on. Celtics moving on. The East is really interesting, starting to represent themselves really well. Suns and Clip, I don't know. So we're looking at a couple of oddity teams if Warriors and Grizzlies keep moving. So let's see how this continues to play out. Huge game. No defense in the playoffs. 143. And the game is starting to slow down a little bit. Change the days using the arrows. Okay, well, there you go. That works. So that was a high-scoring affair. What happened here? Trae Young went off. 53 playoff points with 16 dishes. That is some serious playoff anomaly going on there. So Trae Young is somewhat godlike right now in this game. It seems to happen in basketball GM, BBGM as well. Trae Young. Seems the Hawks just continue to murder these simulators, but is it really happening in real life yet? Not particularly. Yeah, he's totally beasting right now. He's in complete beast mode. So we'll see, but he hasn't gone past the Sixers yet, so maybe he'll be out soon. All right, keep it moving. All right, Hawks, Sixers, they get past this round. Show the playoffs. Who's in? Suns get past the Clip. Lakers keep going. Warriors are in. And the Grizzlies swept. And this is game 7. Sixers, Hawks for all the marbles. Sixers, Trae Young with all that capability did get shut down under 30 in this particular Game 7 matchup in Philly at home. And we're looking at the teams that have moved on. And let's get to the second round of the NBA playoffs. We got the Grizz and the Suns, the Lakers and the Warriors. So if the Lakers take out the hypothetical James Wiseman added Warriors, I think actually Wiggins has moved around in this game too. It's Clay and Curry versus them, and let's see how that goes. But the East is very accurate here. I mean, I think Raptors fans are going to think that they can get through, or Pacers, but we have the Bucks, the Sixers, the Celtics, the Nets. That's fair. Grizzlies, odd. Suns, all right. Suns are the new kind of dark horse in the league, some people think. So they have added CP3 to their team, so they're much stronger. And, okay, so what do we got? Suns won the first game. Warriors winning the first game. Sixers over the Bucks. Nets beat the Celtics in the first one. And nothing's really changed there. All right, I'm rooting for the Lakers so that this thing can get Klay Thompson out of this representation. All right, Nets are doing their thing. Suns doing their thing to take out this #1 Grizz team. Somehow #1 Grizzlies, Ja Morant going off. Does anyone have any predictions on how this thing might play out? I think if you're looking at how these teams right now are playing, it looks like the Nets are going to roll. But then when you kind of match up with these Lakers Warriors in terms of overall rating in the simulation, it begins to might be a tough path. But right now the game is definitely really into the KD Kyrie combo and the depth of the Suns. Booker, CP3, Ayton. Lakers doing their thing. All right, we got the Lakers up 2-1. We got the the Suns almost sweeping the Grizz. We got the Bucks coming back from the 1-0 deficit, and we have the Nets up 3-0. All right, let's keep it going. The Nets, are they going to sweep? Celtics fans, what is going to happen? Can you guys come back? And what do we have? In the hypothetical 2021 playoffs on DDSPB 21, we got the Suns sweeping the Grizzlies. We got the Lakers and Warriors tied. We got the Bucks, the Sixers tied, and we got the Celtics showing up for a game. Who wants to see why the Celtics showed up in the last one? Maybe it's a couple days back. There we go. We got a home game in the Garden. Tatum doing his thing. We got Tristan in the lineup. Marcus Smart. 18 boards from Tristan. I guess Thies goes to the bench now. Redick is this trade anomaly that's come in and added to their team. Didn't do well in this game, but 6 of 10 Jaylen Brown. This is a guy that I think is a tremendous player. He's actually getting over 24 a game in real life a lot now. And so I think Jaylen's ratings over time, you're going to watch this stuff go up. This guy's a talent to go along with the rest of the lineup. All right, but there you go, Celtics fans. They're actually still in it. Here we go again. And Golden State, they need to knock it off. Or we're going to have Golden State winning it, and that's going to be a bit of a joke. All right, Suns through. Lakers need to get back in this. And the Nets, I'm sorry, Celtics fans. The Nets have eliminated the Boston Celtics, and the Warriors keep cruising. And how are they cruising? Is it Wiseman and Clay just killing it? Hypothetically. Yeah, Oubre, and then we got Draymond healthy. Well, this is like an on-paper studly team. AD's having difficulty. LeBron. Different lineup. I don't know if Schroeder's given enough love in this game. KCP does his thing. He's definitely better than that. I think he's a very underrated player, to be honest. But let's keep it going. I guess we can't assume that the Lakers are going to go again, or maybe we should. I mean, they kind of got through the playoffs last year and seems pretty motivated. Okay, keep it going. And we got Lakers hanging in there. Not done. We want to get these Warriors out. 3-3 battle. 3-3 battle. Game 7 in 2 different series in the second round. We have a massive one for the Warriors, and whether or not the Bucks end up playing the Nets as the powerhouses in the Eastern Conference. So I'm a little nervous to play this one. We show the games. I'm not going to watch this one because it's like that's not a real team in this league, but let's just really hope it works out for the best. And the Lakers. Yes. The only team I had to cheer for in this game, because now this creates the semifinal matchup of hypothetical teams that could be something that would be really interesting in real life this year. So we got that anomaly out of the way. We have the Lakers moving on. We got them playing the Suns in the Western Conference Final. And we have the Bucks and the Nets matching up. Here's your final for 2021 in the NBA playoffs. All right, so now this is going to get a little interesting. And let's see how this goes. I can show some box scores. Right off the bat, the Lakers are asserting themselves. They've taken game 1. The Nets have taken game 1. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to save again. Is anyone making any predictions? Fear the deer. Bucks Nation. I don't know what they're called or whatever, but yeah. The herd or something, who knows? But they're losing game 1. If we want to see how these series are kind of playing out in the box scores, tight one by 12. We got the Lakers right now winning by 14. And so who did well in this one? We got LeBron going off from 3. We got AD shooting 3. LeBron 8 3-pointers. Play some D. CP3, Booker. We got a high-scoring game in the playoffs. Ayton doing his thing, plus rebounds. So this is an interesting matchup, but it might be the end of the road for the Suns. You can't use back here, though, either. My back does not work. Okay. All right, well, whatever. Lakers Nets. I heard there's a Lakers Nets in the chat. We have a Bucks in 5, Lakers in 6. And just to remind everyone, the favorite of Las Vegas are the Lakers, the Bucks, and the Nets. So the game has put 3 out of the top 4 teams into the semifinals of pro basketball. Now, what's interesting is to take a look at some of these previews. It'll give you spreads. So right now, at home, Milwaukee's getting a favorite of 3.5. And we have the Suns and the Lakers. The Lakers, on paper, are just looking too good at home. That's kind of what the playoffs were like this year. Most of their games versus Miami looked at about 6.5 to 7-point favorite for most games. And Miami did a good job of hanging in there and losing by a small margin. So let's play and see how those scores play out. Oh, it's a smashing. Lakers backers have another win. And I think I'm not sure why that doesn't come in. Okay, so Lakers again. And if we go show games, Milwaukee covering as well at home, getting it done. I'm not going to get into details. I think more important to look at. Here's today's best performances on the right. So we can see kind of right there immediately who's done well. LeBron, KD, your usual suspects are doing well. Kyrie, 6 steals. That's huge. Let's keep this going. I'm on the wrong day, so it doesn't like me at all here. Sim a day. All right, next day. Suns are not repping right now. The state of Arizona is not pleased. And the Bucks and the Nets. So the Bucks are showing that they can hang around a bit. That might be a more interesting series on that other side. The Suns, though, are proving that they can win a game in the Western Conference Final. So they're not done, but pretty done. Bucks and Nets. Let's see what happens. Right now, it's looking like the Nets-Lakers final. And it's definitely the Lakers. And is it a Nets-Lakers by Giannis? Another year. You re-up for 5. But a couple other cats came into the East. KD, Kyrie, with that kind of balanced team, and have entered the finals before you. And we have a Lakers-Nets finals. So that was, I think it was called in the chat. So that was a good call by the coolest Jedi. Nice picks. This is looking like what's going to happen. So if we go back again, the Bucks were a little bit more favored than the Nets, but the Nets are now in the finals versus the Lakers. And all right, here we go. And if we get to a game 7 or something, it might be interesting to put it on, or maybe play like a close game to see who can clinch. So I got time to do that. I might go make a coffee if I do that. But let's see how this starts playing out. All right, the Lakers. Are they just going to sweep? I don't know, but they just won again. So getting past that hypothetical on-paper Warriors team was massive. So the Lakers are trying to do their thing to go back-to-back. And if we take a look at how there's no news there on that day, but KD, we look at some of the stats coming in, rebounds, AD versus KD, LeBron James, and KCPs, and acronyms, all you want. All right, now I'm on the wrong day, so it won't let me advance. And the Lakers again. I might have to put on a simulator to see how the game goes. If it's close, when I'm playing the 2D mode and they're up 20 or something, it'll just be like whatever. But if it's close and they might clinch, I'm going to play the game out. I'm going to show the capability of this simulator to go in depth, not just be a glorified spreadsheet, to give you guys a bit of the on-the-court action and see if they can clinch. If it's tight, we'll show it. If it's a blowout, we'll just kind of like zip it along and go, all right, thanks for coming out, Nets. But for now, the Lakers are up. Maybe they'll go for the sweep, but I do want to show a 2D mode, and then I'm going to go make a coffee. We'll see if the Lakers will sweep the Nets. It looks like LeBron and AD are on the top of the heap and representing the favorites in Las Vegas. 2.5 times your bet. Could be possible. It's not bad value. All right, now I promised to do this, so let's see if there's a sweep, but I'm going to do a play watch. And yeah, I might be able to leave my terminal and make a coffee at the same time. So 2D, here it is, to see if the Lakers sweep the Brooklyn Nets, the 60-win Nets, the 52-win Lakers. Let's get to the action. AI-controlled teams, I'm not going to be doing anything about it. Let's make sure. Here's the starting lineups in the NBA Finals. Kyrie Irving, I don't even know how to pronounce that guy's name. Landry Shamet, Joe Harris, KD, DeAndre Jordan. We got Schroeder, KCP, LeBron James, AD, Montrezl Harrell. To see if the Nets can get back in this series. And we're going to get to the action. I think I'm going to put a speed that's about at this area and level. And I'm going to press play, and then I might go off. And you're not going to hear any sounds, unfortunately, because of the Mac. But we're getting the game underway, and I have these sounds going off in my ear, which is quite annoying. But I don't think it gets into your game. But if you do hear the game sounds, that'd be all right. The reason why, yeah, I guess they traded maybe for a draft pick, but yet they're still in the finals, or maybe he's on the bench. Um, and sorry, I don't want any stops ever. And if you don't hear the game sounds, I'm just gonna turn that stuff off for me because it's like really loud in my ear. Um, I don't know. Did you guys hear game sounds at all? Because I can go back and have the whole like squeaky shoe thing going on, but um, I think like it doesn't work out of my Mac OBS stream or whatever. And I think this is a pretty decent pace to the game. So we got LeBron, we got the Lakers up. Okay, no one heard any sounds. All right, so I'm gonna leave this. Keep an eye on the game. If you guys type out exactly what's happening, just keep chatting about it. I'm a little worried that the box score is on the left and right. So if I'm going to put the chat log in this game, I'm not sure there's a better place for me to put it. Maybe in the top right-hand corner or something. But I want people to see the box of the results happening as well. Yeah, no sound at all. Yeah, you know what? That's a limitation of using VMware Fusion on a Mac and not having that. But I'm going to make myself a coffee and I'll return. But right now it looks like the Lakers are going for their sweep. You guys can probably hear me making a coffee because I have AirPods and going all the way to the kitchen to do this. So I definitely don't have a mute that I know I'm aware of. So bear with me. I can't even see what the scores are. I can't even see what you guys are typing. But I want to make myself an espresso coffee. Yeah. I'm a definite caffeine addict when it comes to work. So let me leave that machine sound. Okay. The Lakers are up 1 right now. Kyrie Irving's hanging in there. He's only got 1 turnover in the game. They're going to need that if they're going to win this one. I'm definitely not interested in trying to be a play-by-play person, but I think if it gets in the 4th quarter, I'll see how I do in terms of doing some play-by-play on exactly what's happening so the volume keeps going. We got team fouls. We got 4 on the Lakers. We're almost at the end of the first, minute 50 to go. Looking around the stat lines, you can see at the bottom how that's going. Kyrie gets his 2nd turnover of the game. And I think, like, you know, it says TO. That also could be representative of turnover, but that's timeout. So maybe it's better to have those dots like the TV broadcast. Some good suggestions maybe in the future for how the design patterns can go. But yeah, we're in the Staples Center with the Lakers trying to win on home court. Unfortunately, weren't able to win on home court last year because they were in the bubble. And this would give them a chance to win at home and bring satisfaction to that whole West Coast. Well, it's a big West Coast. Laker fans are a unique breed. And I don't know if there's such thing as Clipper fans. But I guess money can buy some fans for sure. I think what happens in the West Coast is that if you're like you were a Chargers fan, you probably would have cheered, you think, for the Clippers. But I know in New York you have that whole like Nets, Mets combination. You know, you have Giants, Yankees fans. I think in the West Coast you're now having this like Chargers, Clippers, or Rams, Lakers. The color scheme kind of goes together as well. Ice hockey, if you want to throw that in there. Rangers go with Giants and Yankee fans, whereas it seems like Islanders will go with Nets and what am I saying? Nets. I'm saying the Mets. Excuse me. Baseball Mets, football Jets, and maybe the Nets actually. But anyways, back to this. We got a tie game here. I'm just going to go back and get my coffee. Anyone have any projections on this game at the final outcome? I think the spread probably will still be about 6.5. We're almost at halftime, 5 minutes to go. But you guys can still hear me, right? So I'm hoping that works. Now, if this ends up being the end result, then I guess I'll go to the awards show, and then that would kind of wrap up a bit of the projections of the 2021 season. But if not, if the Nets keep winning, I'm going to keep pushing this along. So it's not taking too long, but you guys can get a sense of how the 2D simulation is on this game. Lakers are going to close this out. Kyrie Irving, though, doing his thing, 22 points. We got AD with 10, so a bit of a balanced attack. LeBron must have gotten quite a bit of the points if they're up by 5 still. So it looks like he's on the bench right now, getting some rest. KD only has his 8 points. How are the teams shooting from behind the arc? The Lakers are shooting a lot of threes, but only at 31%, yet still have, they don't have the lead anymore. The Nets have closed it before the second quarter, and the Nets are up 2 at that right before possibly the half. Who's got the ball? Lakers have the ball. Last shot, Shamet hit a shot. And Lakers last shot, foul, KCP to the line. It's kind of skipping around, moving around at this speed. But it looks like the Nets are still in this game. So we're at the, up 6. Some things happened there before the half. It's just the speed of the 2D. If you guys want me to slow it down at all, maybe I'll do that. But at the half, we're looking at LeBron James, 12 points, AD, 10. We got Kyrie at 25 points, on pace for 50 in the game, and try to keep the Nets alive in the series. So let's get to the second half. If you guys want to follow some of the stats, keep looking at the bottom corners. I know if I have a chat bar, that might affect it a little bit, but Kyrie's at 27 points. They're pulling away. They're up 10. The Nets want to show that they're not going to be swept, or they're going to stay alive in the series. If it starts getting a little silly, we can fast forward this and just move on to the next game because they're still in the series. So why don't we crank it up a little bit to see if the Nets are going to put some distance on the Lakers and win this game. At the moment, it's still 10. And nothing's really happened for a while here, but it's still skipping along. Lakers hit a 3. I'm going to slow it down by the fourth quarter, but I do want to see if this is a tight game or not. And if it's not a tight game, then we have another game to go anyway in the series. So I don't want to keep everyone hanging around, dragging it out. And maybe the game says, okay, Nats, you can have one, and this is the one that they're sticking in. So we'll see if the Lakers do make a run by the end of the game. All right, so it's getting close now, and we're almost the fourth quarter. I think if we're getting close in the fourth, I'll definitely kind of like slow it down a little bit. We can see some of the last plays, see maybe if like we're projecting, AD to take a big shot, maybe to win the game. We can kind of get into that action and kind of get a sense of what actually just happened to wrap the game up. But for now, let's get to the fourth, see if it's tight, see if we're moving on or not. And we got the Nets still up, possibly holding on to a lead before the third quarter here. And we're into the fourth. All right, so as we move on, I think we're going to get it down towards the 2-minute mark. And at that point, we can then kind of slide it out a little bit and watch some of the plays happen one by one. And see if the Lakers can sweep, see if the Nets can move to the next game. And the Nets are up 5. Pulling away a bit. 37 from Kyrie. Not as hot as the first half, but definitely adding to those points. Oh, up to 42. I spoke too soon. There's 8 minutes to go. 42 points from Kyrie Irving to keep the Nets alive. Up 6 right now in the fourth quarter. And yeah, it's getting kind of little. Those toasters are. I'm gonna need to fix that. So I'm moving my mouse around. All right, so we're getting closer. One point game. This speed is obviously making the toasters a little funky that are coming up because I'm trying to move the game along here. But you're seeing the game log. Things are poppy, but I will slow it down. Lakers are up 2. We're up 1, sorry. Now they're down 1. Now they're down 3. Let's get this down towards the end of the game. See if there's going to be a bit of a chance. A 1-point game, 5 minutes to go. Maybe if it's really tight, I'll go from the 3-minute mark. All right, 4 minutes to go. This game's tight. Let's see what happens from this point. I got to get those toasters working out a little better. All right, here we go. 3 minutes to go. Nets are up 4 now, though. Okay, so that just wrapped up, I think, the end of. Let's pause this. Hopefully, this thing. Oh, it's not pausing. Oh no, it's happening. Oh, the Nets are pulling away, and here we go. And I don't think the Lakers are going to come back from this one. And so I think we need to just push this along. Yeah, there's no comeback with 1 minute here. All right, so the Nets are hanging in there. You guys are going to get some more 2D action if you want it. But now I need to get past this game. So that's fast forward there. We're done. Nets follow through. The Lakers do not win at home yet. And that's your ball game. And we have Kyrie did hit the 50 mark. Amazing performance from Kyrie Irving. Keep them alive. KD, LeBron didn't get it done. The toasters are just going absolutely ape shit. And just keep telling me about Joe Harris. My computer is hot as hell, so I guess like this game's really crunching a lot of stuff. All right. Can I even get out? Here we go. It's responsive. All right, so let's save. Worst thing that can happen is I'm going to redo all this stuff. Okay, so playoffs. Let's show the games. That was just what passed. Table warning, blah, blah. That's like my compatibility mode, so I gotta do better with that. Windows 8. Today's best grid. Today's best radio tunes. Okay. Play. Do this again. We know the Nets have a win. I think we're back in. Let's take a look at the preview one more time. Brooklyn's favored 9.5 in Barclays. Wow. And we have an injury here, not a big name. But they're projecting the Nets not to be done. It almost makes me want to sim the game, and then keep this going towards a game 7. But if we do, we might lose the chance of seeing a championship happen in the 2D mode. So I do have to go and play this, but I'm going to have to play this at a really fast pace. And then let's get to the fourth quarter. Starting lineups, nothing's really changed here. All right. And these are the, this is in my mod actually. I did these courts, took them from some sort of a company that does some of the art, and added it to the mod. So you'll be able to find that in the game. Now we're going to go on this like fast forward mode because we want to get to the half. So I think that mode actually might not put any toasters up, which is what we need at this point. So that's a relief. I'm able to push through at least to the later half of the game. If the Nets are up large, uh, we can just take their 9.5 favorite, move them along, and know that they're continuing on in their journey to try to beat the Lakers. They're down 3-1 right now. So anyone who's a Brooklyn fan, you're not done yet. All right, Brooklyn is maintaining somewhat of this favorite prediction before the game. 9.5 point favorite, up 15, just pulling away right now on the Lakers, showing that they want to be in this series. Up 16, still holding the lead. Up 18, up 18, still end of the half, up 18. Who's doing it this time? Kyrie again, KD again. The guards are getting burned on the Lakers. AD's done nothing. He's having a horrible night in Brooklyn. The fans, or if there are fans, I don't even know this year, but the road team is getting shook in Brooklyn. And so let's keep this going into the fourth quarter unless the game gets tight. And we'll see if the Lakers can close the gap, try to win the championship on the road. Otherwise, we're going to a game 6. And I don't know if anyone called, someone called Nets in 6. That was very interesting. We're at 15 now. Still holding it. If this game gets to within 6 points or so, I think I'm going to have to cut the whole fast forward here. 14, 11, 13, more than 14, 14. No, we're almost 20-point lead, 17-point lead, 15-point lead going into the fourth, 18-point lead, almost into the end of the fourth, 20-point lead, 18-point lead. I'm like an auctioneer here. 21-point lead, we got 19-point lead, 13 seconds. Okay, fourth quarter is still going. I get nervous in case the game is trying to like start the rally. 14, 17. If the Lakers do close this under 10, I think we're going to have to like keep an eye out. 17, 16, 13, 14. And that, I don't know if any of you guys saw that, but there's DeAndre Jordan, a bit of a Easter egg started showing up. 14, 16. I think I pressed pause, but it really is not responsive on that. And thankfully, it looks like the Nets are going to get out of this one, though. 12, 3 minutes. Doesn't look good for the Lakers. Up 10. No more. Not enough time. Oh, that did get close. 9, 6 for a sec. 10. Oh, 9. Oh, whoa, 8. Jeez, man. How do I stop that? No, that didn't even work. Anyways, the Nets got through that, but I got to watch that fast forward there. All right. Kyrie did it again. And they did not cover the spread, though. The 9.5 Nets home spread. But they did win, and they're not embarrassing themselves. And we're going to a game 6. Whereas this, I thought this thing could be wrapping up. We're not done yet here. All right, we're going back to LA in this matchup. It looks like the Nets have home court advantage, so that was a big win in Game 5. Here we go again. Can the Lakers win at home? Same lineups, Joe Harris, Kyrie Irving, just killing it, 30.1 points per game. Not sure if that's playoff points or whatnot. But those are the season stats. They're appearing here right now. Okay, and let's get to the half and see if the Nets can continue to extend this game. right, so who's it gonna be in this one? Is it gonna be AD stepping up finally? Oh, what is that happening? Okay. Let's see if I need to put that no. Turn the game back to the fast forward. Okay, there we go. Fast forward is cranking along. See what we got. Sorry, I'm just looking at something else. All right, the Lakers right now, we're almost at the half. This game's still pretty tight, and they're getting close towards the championship, so we'll get fired up soon. All right, the Nets are still coming back. Wow, I did not think that. They were down 3-0 in this series, and now they're up some points, looking to move on. And let's see here. All right. So at the half, sorry, I'm just getting distracted. Some stuff's coming through on my phone, but this is trying to get to the NBA final. Find out what's happening here in terms of this season. The Nets are hanging around this game within 5. I'm gonna play it at a pretty fast pace. I don't know how to turn that fast forward off sometimes, so I think I'm gonna have to do it at this one, and then hope for the pause, and then hope for those toasters to just chill out. All right, let me set my phone up back so I can see what you guys are typing to me. All right, we're all set. The Nets are up pretty big, up 13 right now. It looks like it could go to game 7, which would be ideal for this 2D mode, to getting it to the fourth quarter and watching this thing play out. But right now, the Nets are showing some strength. All right, only a 7-point game now. 8-point game. Kyrie Irving going off for 34 points. We have LeBron James, Harrell getting 11 right now, contributing. Schroeder's doing all right, but definitely getting burned by Kyrie almost every night, at least for the last 3 games. And it's pretty tight. We're almost at the end of the third with under 4 minutes to go. We got a 6-point game. The Nets are up right now. It's a 3-point game, so this could be the Lakers potentially winning it. But they're right now, they don't have the lead. It's within 6, within 7 points. And the Nets are up 6. Nets are up 3. And we're almost at the end of the fourth. And then hopefully all these pop-ups just chill out so that the game can go nice and smooth to see what the outcome will be. And we got the Nets up 5. Oh, it's still going. All right, so let me practice the pausing here because it's not that receptive to me. And this thing's just going to fly right by, isn't it? I think my best bet is to kind of press and press. I'll put that down. Yeah, no, it's slinging. It's slinging with not a lot of way of correcting it. Let's see if I can slow the game down. I think it's slowing down a bit. Yeah, there's some lag here. I don't know if it's just like the lag on my computer or whatever. Stop. All right, that's a pause. Okay, so come back. Okay, the game has slowed down now. All right, 8 minutes to go. I think we can raise it one more bar. Pause that. Play it again. Kuzma with a shot. All right, 5-point game. Let's get into it. And then I'm going to try to pause it with like 2 minutes and see if I can really slow it down and we can watch this action just kind of gradually play out. Still a 5-point game. Kyrie Irving going off 47 points. They're up 8 right now. If the Nets can get over 10, it's 5. Lakers trying to chip away at the lead, trying to win the championship in the 2021 pro basketball hypothetical season. 7.5-point lead for the Nets. Up to 8. This could be going to a game 7. Up to 8 right now, still holding that lead. Pretty balanced attack from the Lakers. But Kyrie Irving has just almost taken over this entire game, just trying to almost get the last laugh with LeBron about who led that particular Cavs game. That particular Cavs team against Golden State. That big shot was Kyrie. And it's a 1-point game here with 3:35 to go. 3-point game. Now, it looks like there's some potential good action happening here. So 3 minutes to go. I'm going to ease into this game. Hopefully it's not just like super slow. Here we go. Here's dribble up the court. Wesley Matthews rebound. Kicks it out. Oh, Brooklyn steals the ball. No, LeVert's on the team. It's just not being started by Steve Nash. So, Coolest Jedi, you were saying that, but Steve Nash has decided to bench LeVert. Or at least be a 6-man, his particular weapon like Lou will. Oh, KD rebound. Kyrie with the ball. Kyrie, deflected out of bounds, the pass. Durant with the ball. Joe Harris from the outside. Dribbles it in. Knocks it down. 5-point lead. So this is a nice pace for the game. I'm trying to get it to this point so we can just watch it this way. 5-point game. What are the Lakers going to do? Brick. Rebound Durant. And what's happening here? We got KD with the ball. Looks like he knocked 2 free throws from KD. I guess at this speed, it kind of just skips the free throws really quickly. 4-point game still. Brooklyn with the ball. Lakers with the steal. LeBron with the steal. LeBron on the corner. Hits the 3. Down 1. Lakers are trying to take this game over. They were down 4 late. This is to try to win it at home. LeBron hit a big 3 with a big steal. Number 12, Harris with the ball. Jordan with the ball. LeVert with the ball. Durant with the ball. Makes the shot. 15-footer mid-range. We have a 3-point game. LeBron ties it at 107 in game 6. 15 seconds to go. KD with the ball. Hits the jumper up two. Last shot. 8 seconds. No, we're going. Brooklyn got the ball. Is there a foul? KD with the rebound. Harrell takes the shot to tie and does not do it for the Lakers. This is going to game 7 for the Nets. My goodness. Holy smokes. KD came up big there. I don't know if you guys zoned in on that one, but 2 huge shots late. After LeBron steals the ball, hits a 3 to tie. Pretty good final there. And we have game 7 coming up. Oh boy. All right, the dramatics are happening here. Ah! Did I just... Oh, that was last game. I just thought I simmed the final. Game 7. That would have been pretty dolty. Okay, no, here we go. The preview. All right, Brooklyn. I don't think that's right, and especially in the NBA final. But projected to win by 10 at home, coming back. Now LeBron has to go in. KD has come into LA, took the road game in game 6 of this projected final, and now is going back to Barclays in Brooklyn to beat LeBron to try to win the NBA Finals. And we're going to game 7 now. This is for all the marbles. Starting lineups. LeVert can't make that lineup. Steve Nash is playing this lineup. And Vogel's got his rotation in there. And we're in Barclays. This is game 7. And what we're going to do is we're going to get to the half, and hopefully it's not a blow, and see what happens in the final. But let's, for now, fast forward. And hopefully the Lakers can keep this close. Otherwise, the Nets would have come all the way back, being down 3-0 to the Lakers, and the possibility of LeBron James choking with a 3-0 lead in the 2021 NBA playoffs. So after one, we're looking at the Nets are up approximately 6, up 5. Into the second quarter, up 7, up 10, up 7, up 5, up 9, up 11, up 13, oh, up 14, up 11. Lakers are falling behind. Down 8, clawing away. Down 11. Down 11 still, almost at halftime. Down 9 at the half, almost. Down 7. Down 4. Up 6, Nets up 6, Nets up 4, Nets up 2. Lakers have come back. Down 1. Down 4, down 6. All right, we're at the half. The Lakers did get back in that second quarter, but the Nets did kind of add a few more points there at the end. LeBron James is hot, 8 of 11 in game 7. Anthony Davis, 6 of 7. LeBron, 4 of 5 from the three-point arc. And so in game 7, we're looking at the Nets. Somehow they added some depth to their team. I think I saw Rozier or something. Okay, let's see how this one plays out. I'm going to put it at a certain pace and try to get to the 4th and then see how the outcome was. But that was pretty dramatic in game 6. Once we were able to zone in to see what was happening there. And so right now, this is a pretty tight game. It's about a 4-point game. Kyrie, look at the bottom right, has scored 20 plus 86 times this year, it's showing. There's a little Easter egg TV broadcast coming into the right-hand corner. So pretty tight game. This is game 7. What I want to do is I want to get us to the 4th quarter. So I'm going to crank it. And I'm wondering if it actually just takes what I'm doing. But for now, let's get to the 4th. So we're up into almost 2 hours of live streaming here. I didn't think it would take this long, but this Twitch broadcast is at 1 hour and 54 minutes. Didn't expect, I guess, everyone to be able to hang around to see the outcome of this one. So definitely going to need some timestamps. But this is an interesting storyline happening here. If the Nets will beat the Lakers and see what happens here. KD, if you look at that Easter egg down there, has scored 20 plus points 77 times this year. So giving you a little bit of a nugget. And right now, though, they're holding that 7-point lead. Trying to hang on in this game. Favored almost 10 points. Up 5. The Lakers no longer looking like the favorites here. The Nets are asserting themselves. Their two-headed monster of KD and Kyrie Irving look like they might be able to get it done. And they were down 3-0 in the series. And it's almost a 10-point lead going towards the fourth quarter with 4 minutes to go. It's an 8-point lead. I'm interested to see the Lakers make this a close game because close games are fun. And right now they're down 10, so that's not that interesting. But can't count out LeBron James, Anthony Davis, AD. AD's got 18 rebounds. The Lakers supporting cast not doing enough to give them a chance to actually stay in this game. They're down 12, almost the fourth quarter. The Nets are up 14. It's looking less and less likely. Up 16. Now, it looks like the Nets have made an in-season deal to actually stack their team a bit more. So we're looking at some players on their lineup that they added. Not sure if it was trading picks or future players or whom. But we do look like they have more than KD and Kyrie Irving. And their supporting cast is helping them pull away by 14 points. And we're into the fourth quarter now at a 14-point game. It's not looking likely for the Lakers to come back here. And so I'm just going to gradually, I think, crank it up a little bit with speed. And then as we get towards 4 minutes left, we're going to try to slow it down one more time just to see the NBA final play out and make the call. $20-point lead. The Lakers possibly blowing a 3-0 lead in the final. And LeBron at home. They had the game within. That was tied. A huge shot from KD. Montrezl Harrell in Game 6 tried to tie it. He took the shot. LeBron didn't take the shot to try to win the NBA final. And thus, we're seeing the repercussions of those decisions. And the Nets are about to possibly climb the entire mountain here. It doesn't look like the Lakers are going to chip away. They're not under 10. It's a 14-point lead here. 6 minutes to go. 12-point lead. I hope I get jinxed. I hope something happens here. 14-point lead. $14-point lead here. 5 minutes to go. Nets are up 12. It's getting to 213, 14 points in the game. 5 minutes left. Over under backers. It looks like a high scoring game. 16-point lead with 4 minutes to go. It's beginning to look a lot like Brooklyn. 18-point lead. Kyrie Irving putting the icing on the cake with KD. The Lakers are getting really pissed off. The coach, the referee's been warned, warns the coach, warns Harrell. The Lakers are losing their mind. AD's crying for calls, being ignored by the referee. Kuzma hits a big shot, gets them within 13. foul on Durant, getting to an 11. All right, so we're looking like, let's go. This is the end of it. So let's change this pace here. We got it within 10. Oh, it's back to 11 now with 2 minutes. What I'm going to do is try to slow this sucker down. 127 at the line. KD's icing the game. Makes a free throw, showing the free throws. I think that's what happens when you're on the speed. But it's a 15-point lead with 1 minute to go. The Toasters are going nuts. Nicholas Claxton Toaster just doesn't want to go away, whoever that is. They have the bench bums in. This game is wrapping up. They have the bench bums on the court for the finale of the Game 7 outcome. And that's your ball game. The Brooklyn Nets are the 2021 champions. KD, massive game from the free throw line, getting the calls, 37 points in Game 7. You got contributions from Kyrie Irving. And what happened? The two-headed monster of the Lakers was not enough to do it. Harrell went cold after that bad shooting performance. I think I still got some ghost toast, I'm going to call it, coming up on my screen. And that's it. That's the outcome. The Nets have won it all. So let's go. Let's save it and let's see the awards, and let's allow me to go get some lunch and wrap this thing up. That was your finals. Yeah, I don't know how Durant was not an all-star, and then that kind of performance started to happen. That was incredible. Came back from 4-0 down. 4-3 Nets. Look at that big Nets logo. If you're a Nets fan, you can be proud of that. And so with that in mind, I think I can just advance days, and I don't know if it's one that's like just advance to the end of the season, whatever. But let's see the awards. I know that that's something I kept showing because I want to show that, and then let's get it popping, wrapped up. Show games, nothing to do. All right, advance. Draft lottery. I don't really particularly want to see this, but I think I have to. Which is a cool part of the game, but it's not really realistic of the final outcomes. Well, it is, but it's a hypothetical next one. So just auto-running this thing. Pistons with the top chance to get the points, the top pick next year. And we're going to auto-run this sucker. And what's going on? We're looking at whose balls are not in. Okay, yeah. Here's the countdown. Blazers at number 11. We have Kings. 10. Heat. So far, Pistons still have the chance to get the top pick. And Pelicans are still in it. Knicks are in it. I think that means the Knicks are no longer... Oh, no, they traded their pick to Golden State. That was the Wiggins deal they did. Bringing in Andrew Wiggins as a tool for their team. Grizz, T-Wolves, and Pistons time. Our Pistons going to get screwed. Back-to-back Grizz picks. And Pistons will get the top pick. All right, moving along. View the awards. Here we go. Let's see who's the MVP. If we go back to what we were saying. Projection, Doncic, Giannis, AD, LeBron, Steph Curry. Where's Trae Young, just out of curiosity? Plus 3,300 on this thing. So there was some pretty cool pump-up music. You guys didn't see it. But National Basketball League, James Harden, the scoring machine, is your MVP. At 33 points a game. He's done it before. He's done it again. And where did he land on this? He did not look like he was coming in this year, but maybe it'll be a comeback story. He's still up there. And maybe because the Rockets are depleted, he's even more likely now. But 20 times your money for James Harden to be the MVP Anthony Davis, shut down, man. Fred VanVleet, Raptor fans, some solace that you have a sixth man, but he normally starts. So I don't know if that means depth or just poor coaching. James Wiseman wins the Rookie of the Year. And finally, we have the Coach of the Year of the Grizzlies, Taylor Jenkins. And what else do we have? All League First Team, Trae Young, obviously, Lakers, and Jokic. Second team, Doncic, Booker, DeMar, Giannis there, DeAndre there. And third team, Zach LaVine makes a sighting. KD's the third team, even at 28 points a game. So some pretty, I don't know if it's the All-Stars are based on voting or what, but some snubs. All rookie team, Anthony Edwards got 9 a game in his first year. Wiseman 16, Obi Toppin 11. And so, and the second team rookies, LaMelo Ball, Avdia, and the last, that's it for rookie team. So that's your award winners. Thank you everybody for the season. Thank you for everybody for being on the stream. I didn't think it would be this long. I think once I started doing 2D, I added about another 40 minutes to this thing. But I'm wrapping it up now. I'm going to save it. And, if we want, maybe I'll do a hypothetical 2022 off-season. But it'd probably be more accurate if the rosters get updated throughout the year, if there's trades at the deadline and whatnot. But I want to thank everybody who will watch this as well. But most importantly, just a reminder, it's General Manager Games. My name is Chris. I help coordinate the content for this website. If you don't know about us, our main site is a very large database of sports management games. We cover every platform. We cover most sports. It's hard to find a game outside of that site. So if you want to know all about them and how they're user rated, go to gmgames.org. Also, we have a Discord with about 1,600 people, a YouTube channel with about 1,100 people, and forums with 10,000 people. So check us out. If you don't know about us, that's what we're up to, and we just love these games. So anyways, thanks everyone for joining and being on the stream today, and that's the way I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks again, and enjoy. Have a happy new year.